So check this out, people. I know a lot of people think that I hate GME or that I hate AMC. For those people who believe that, that's ridiculous to think that a person would hate a stock for any reason, right? Because I'm in the business of making money. And that's what people get into business for. They get into business to make money. And the stock market is a business. They could care less about who I am. They could care less about who you are. They don't care. They don't know who you are. They don't know who I am. They are only interested in making money. The stock market, the New York Stock Exchange, the NASDAQ, it's a business. And so I don't care whether or not a business that I am not involved in succeeds or not, because I am not involved in that business, right? Now, if I am involved in a business, then I want to see that business succeed. There's no doubt about that. But let's be real. AMC and GME were never long-term investments. Anyone who's been following this saga knows this, because I was here from the beginning. I am one of the originals who were here during the AMC and GME and Dogecoin squeezes. I was here with Frankie Muhammad, John Wood Sniping, Trey's Trades, Review Dork, TMI, Schultevix. I was here. And when Dogecoin originally squeezed, in one day I made 10 grand. In one day. As soon as I put my money in that Tuesday, that very same day, I watched my money go up from $700, which was my initial investment, to 10 grand in one day. Because I knew this would happen, because I had people outside of YouTube that I was dealing with, that I was talking to. And these people were involved in this whole squeeze thing, right? And when I initially got the information from a friend, I held on to my money, and I wasn't quick to put my money into a 5-cent stock. I wasn't going to do that, because some guy walks up to me, a guy I knew for a very long time who was into the stock market. And he said to me, listen, Dogecoin is going to squeeze. He said, Dogecoin is going to squeeze. Buy a few shares and keep an eye on that stock. And I simply kept my eye on the stock, and I didn't put my money in. I continued to trade in and out of Bitcoin, in and out of AMC, because at the time I was trading AMC, it was at $1.50 when I started. And I knew about this whole bankruptcy thing that people were talking about. And so I continued to watch both these stocks, including GME. And so before I went to work one morning on a Tuesday, which is the day that Dogecoin squeezed, I decided on that day, while tracking the stock, while watching the stock, to sell the shares that I had in another stock and put it into Dogecoin, which was the best move I made at the time. But I knew that wasn't a long-term investment. I knew that was a short squeeze play. And it turned out in my favor. And so I sold, and I took advantage of the squeeze. And then a few weeks later, a friend of mine called me when I was begging him to jump into these plays. He wouldn't listen to me until I showed him proof about the things I was talking to him about, right? And when I showed him the receipts, because he wouldn't listen to me when I told him that Dogecoin was going to squeeze. And I didn't get this information from YouTube. I wasn't following YouTubers. The last thing I was going to do was put my faith and my trust into influencers. That doesn't make any sense. And so a friend of mine called me, the same one that I was trying to get into the Dogecoin play at the time, who refused to do it. And I had to say to him, listen, you spend $120 on video games and you can't put $100 on a 5-cent stock, bro? Are you serious? And he refused to listen until I showed him that I had made 10 grand in one day, not in a month, not in 2 weeks, not in 3 weeks, in one day. And so finally, 2 weeks later, he gives me a call. He says, listen, I got $1,000. Where should I put this money? And I said to him, put it on AMC, because within a few weeks, AMC is going to squeeze. And so he finally took my advice, and in 2 weeks, he made 20 times his investment. He turned the $1,000 into $20,000, right? And he saw that I was right on Dogecoin, and he saw that I was right on AMC. And as days turned into weeks and weeks into months, by me tracking the stocks, not just AMC, GME, and Dogecoin, but other stocks, and seeing how the market works and seeing how these stocks were being traded, they were being sold after people were claiming that they were going to the moon, the very next day they were tanking. I saw it with Dogecoin, I saw it with GME, and I saw it with AMC. And I watched all of these stocks that were supposed to be going to the moon. Dogecoin is going to the moon. AMC is going to the moon. GME is going to the moon, and the very next day they all tanked. And so I called him up one day and I said to him, listen, the AMC squeeze is a scam. I told him, get your money before you lose it. And because he went from taking my advice, I was right the first time with Dogecoin, I was right the second time with AMC. And rather than saying to himself, damn, this guy was right 2 times. 2 times in a row, within a month's time, he was right about Dogecoin and AMC. He didn't take my advice the 3rd time. Now, because he made 20 grand, he thought he was the man. He started taking money from his father, his family members, and putting it into AMC, believing what the influencers on YouTube were telling him. And I was telling him, bro, get off YouTube. Get off YouTube. I can hear by the way you're talking that you're repeating the very same things you hear on YouTube. You are sounding like Trace Trades. You're sounding like Short the VIX. You're sounding like all of these people who are pumping stocks, and you're going to lose your money. And he says to me, listen, you got to get off those conspiracy theories, is what he said. It's funny how it wasn't a conspiracy theory when I made 10 grand on Dogecoin in a day. It wasn't a conspiracy theory when I told him to put his grand on AMC and he made 20 grand. It wasn't a conspiracy theory when GME squeezed. But now all of a sudden, because he made money, now he thinks he's the man and didn't take my advice. Until he lost his father's money and his winnings started to dwindle. And rather than cashing out at the top, he had to cash out at a much lower amount. And this is what happens when you listen to influencers on YouTube, on Reddit, on TikTok, on Facebook, telling you to leave your money to Diamond Hand, the stock that they have no intentions of holding. None, because they're all selling behind your backs. And that's the scam. You see, the more people hold, the longer people hold, the faster they cash out. And that's what Trace Trades did. That's what Short the VIX did. That's what Review Dog did. That's what TMI did. That's what the Kansas 5 did. And they were celebrating while telling everyone to hold. They sold and made millions of dollars. And so AMC and GME and Dogecoin were never, ever long-term plays. They started to tell you that after the majority of people sold, cashed out, and those who stayed behind, who were telling you that these stocks were going to the moon, had to change their narrative to now fighting corruption. because they lost. They realized that they had fucked up. They didn't get their money. They encouraged others to put their monies into the stock, and when the stock tanked, they had to change their narrative to, hey, we're fighting corruption. So if you lose your money, it's okay. We're going to hold to zero, right? And when the fighting corruption didn't work out in their favor either, they had to change their tune, their narrative, and then call this a long-term investment. So then these stocks went from being a short squeeze play to fighting corruption to a long-term investment with fundamentals. All of a sudden, now it's fundamentals. Now these scumbags on YouTube who were here for a short squeeze play became professional, non-financial advisors, right? From, hey, let's diamond hand. Hey, we're going to squeeze the shorts, to all of a sudden financial advice or non-financial advice from the same pumpers. And so when you people listen to me and hear me talk about these influencers, these scumbags who pump AMC and GME and any other stock, it's not because I hate the stock or the company. I could care less. What I do hate are the scumbags who have been lying to the masses and who have caused all these people who they enticed to jump into these stocks for a short squeeze play to lose their money, and then pretend that this was a long-term investment all along. Because if you want to invest long-term, meme stocks are not the way to go. And they wouldn't be enticing you to put your money into a meme stock like AMC or GME unless they have fucked up and had to create a new narrative so that they can make themselves look good after they caused you to lose your house and your life savings. And so they had to create a new narrative. And so if I go after these scumbags on YouTube who pump GME and AMC and any other stock, it's because I know what they're doing. See, because I've been here from the beginning. I didn't just get here yesterday like some of these influencers who jumped on the bandwagon who are playing this narrative so they can get views, clicks, and ad revenues and make some $100 to $200 a month extra income from YouTube. Because YouTube don't pay me on this channel. And this is why I'm able to say the things I say, is because I haven't sold out. And I don't plan to sell out. I'm going to continue to tell the truth about these stocks, these plays, and these pumpers on YouTube, these influencers who have been lying to the masses and claiming that these stocks were going to the moon when they knew damn well, very well, that that was not the play. Because if you want to invest long term, there are plenty of stocks that you can buy into that will guarantee you a good investment in 5, 10, 15, or 20 years. And if you're over 40 and you think that you're going to get rich by jumping into a squeeze play with $1,000 and then you're going to, or put your life savings in it like 30,000, 40,000, and you don't sell when the stock squeezed, then I'm sorry, but you fucked up. You fucked up because you listened to these assholes on YouTube who took advantage of you and who are still taking advantage of you because the market doesn't care about hope. And this is what now they're continuing to teach and preach, that this is about hope. If you want hope, go to church. God and money don't mix, bro. They don't mix. And so I don't have a problem with any company that pays my bills. I don't have a problem with any company where I put my money into them and I get a return. But I am not going to play daddy to a company that doesn't take care of me. AMC doesn't pay my bills. Adam Aaron doesn't pay my bills. Brian Cohen and GME don't pay my bills. And so I'm not going to bend over and let them put it inside me without Vaseline. It's not going to happen. That's not the way it works. And this is what a lot of people are doing when they watch AMC and GME YouTubers entice them into putting their money into these stocks. And rather than getting their money when these stocks spike, they hold to the moon, believing that all of these people who they don't know, whose faces they've never seen, are not selling behind their backs. And so if you think I hate GME, then I hate GME. If you think I hate AMC, then I hate AMC. They don't pay my bills. They don't know who I am. AMC, GME, any of them could care less who you are. All they're interested in is keeping their doors open. And if that means keeping the doors open off the backs of investors, then that's what they're going to do. And if that means diluting while you hold to the moon, that's exactly what they're going to do. Because their job is not to provide for you and your family. Their job is not to pay you and your family. Their job is to protect themselves and the companies that they manage. And so if you want to invest in long-term stocks, there are stocks that pay dividends. There are stocks that pay you to leave your money in. And if you don't educate yourself, you're going to be taken advantage by these YouTubers who sell you lies, who want to tell you about the books and balance sheets and connect the dots and all this bullshit. While they themselves are losing money, they're causing you to do the same. So in the end, people, you got to grow up. You have to do your own research. And when it comes to the stock market, you got to get off YouTube and get your money.